I gotta get used to that new camera angle. I gotta get used to it. All right. Now, we just went live on UNIRock 2. We hooked you up with a live show that showcases the way that we stream. Although it was a test stream and it is not up to the standard and par that a normal UNIRock 2 stream would be, you got a little taste of what we do at UNIRock. We take a subject that the community is interested in, whether it be a viral subject, a YouTube trending subject, or some YouTube thing, or a group of people, or an event, or really whatever's out there that interests our community. And we break it down and do our best to kind of understand it. Maybe if it's a video or something, we'll react to it and laugh at it like we did in the beginning of the stream. Or if it's some type of contentious claim that exists amongst people that have either inserted themselves or been brought into our community for some reason, we want to see what's there. We want to know what people are saying happened, and we want to compare it to what can be proven is going on. And then we want to know who's lying, who's telling the truth, who's trying to represent facts, who's trying to sell you something, who's trying to push something on you. And we just want to be able to walk away at the end of a stream understanding things a little bit better than we did when walking in. And that's essentially my show in a nutshell. The way I kind of sum it up is to say, I dig through the internet all day so that you don't have to unless you want to. So I'll take a subject and I'll get real deep in it and come to a conclusion and show you everything that brought me there so that hopefully you'll have the resources you need to be able to make up your mind in the same way. Some of you end up trusting me a little, some of you don't at all. But basically, whether you trust me or not, I think so many people who don't like my stream end up watching my stream because they do get a value out of it. Honestly. Or my videos in general, like my content nukes. By the way, H3 Productions and Leafy, I've been dropping Moabs and content nukes for 4 years. With the animation of a nuclear blast going on in the background. That's my shtick. I really don't mind that they're using my stuff, but, you know, it's pretty cool how it works. I'm actually really, really happy about it. Just so you know, all those nuclear animations I've made, I've had them for a long time, and I've been using them for a long time, so. Anyway, this whole thing between Amber and Sharrell, I don't really give a shit. I just want to know the truth of it, and I think you'll understand that you kind of get a perspective that helps. Because we know what happened with Sharrell and Katie a while back. We know what happened with Sharrell and a certain silvery fish a while back. And now you're seeing another thing happen. And really, there are too many parallels between all these different events. So for anyone who wants to say that the content that we do doesn't help in some way as time goes on, you're kind of bullshitting. It does. I'm honestly, the fans here, you guys really get a glimpse of what's going on. And I do too. I do too. I really get kind of behind the scenes on a lot of this stuff. And the reason is because let's just pretend that Sharrell opens her mind and lets go of all these preconceived things. Her and Perry decide, I want to reach out to UNIRock and talk to him, get his perspective, kind of understand what's going on. You know I would let it happen, and we'd probably get along really well, see eye to eye, and things would work out into that whole context. Even though, yes, I'd still criticize them if I felt I needed to on certain subjects. But in the same respect, you watched Katie Joy Paulson. I criticized her in the beginning off of fake information, and I went and talked to her, and once she proved to me that the stuff that was being said was fake, I went out into the community and showed you the evidence, showed you the proof, and updated the story. I think that's the thing that really matters. When people will update the story, they get respected more by the communities. And for some reason, the thing I'm taking away from this video tonight and the last 7 months of content, there are a few people out there. One is very fishy, and the other is very New World Order-y, if you will get my drift. Sharrell's New World Order, to be specific. Yes, Silverfish and Sharrell don't seem to update their audience when they're wrong. when they end up saying that somebody did something like create a fake screenshot or create a screenshot or an email or strikes or using certain words or being racist or something, and they blame somebody, those two, they just seem to never go and sit in front of their audience and say, I was wrong. I have evidence that proves that I'm wrong. I'm sorry for accusing them of that. I still feel like I feel, but I just want to make sure I don't put out false information on my channel. They don't do that. And you can hate me all you want. You can not like me. You can hate me. You can not want to watch me. You can troll me. You can hate me to the end of the earth. But the one thing I'll do is if I get something wrong or if I get new information that changes the fabric of a story, I will sit down and make a video and update you on it, and I'll make sure that I put it out there. And I think you'll find that most YouTubers will do that also. I could honestly think of a million times when other YouTubers have updated their channels after they realized that there was something they missed, something major about a story that they didn't see. And honestly, those are the channels I watch. I don't care if you go watch channels that won't update their stories once they get something wrong and it gets proven the opposite of. I don't care if you watch them. You can watch whoever you damn want. I don't watch channels that do that because those viewers that believed Sharrell when it came to that mess that she accused Katie of, I'm sure they still believe it, right? And we know it wasn't true. How do you know it wasn't true? Because you watched my stream. If you were a Sharrell viewer who watched my stream that I made over that, you're going to come away from my stream saying, yeah, Katie didn't do that. But if you're a Sharrell viewer who trusts Sharrell, that watched Sharrell say it and never saw my stream, how are you going to know? You're just going to walk away. And then the thought occurs to everyone. Maybe that's why they don't go back and update those stories. So you've got to ask yourself a question. Would Sharrell updating that story about Katie make Katie look good and make Sharrell look bad to those people? And if that's true, maybe that's why she never updated the story. And ask yourself that question about these other instances that have happened. Because we are talking about instances where there is real, provable data that shows that those things didn't happen. And they never once went back to it. They benefit from people thinking that Katie did that. They benefit, you know, that's the thing that gets me. Some people won't draw that line. And then you understand there are people out there that don't like certain people and they want to believe what was said. They want to believe that. And then you start to realize, holy shit, the internet is a lot like life. Not everybody on the internet gives a shit about what's real or gives a shit about what really happened, right? And that's why we get along so well, me and you. Because we do give a shit what really happened. I don't want to have the wool pulled over my eyes and sit here and think that Katie's racist because somebody told me she was but can't prove anything about it and just swears up and down that it happened. I don't want to think that. I don't even want to think anything bad about Sharrell if it's not true. If it is true, then I'll think it. If it's not true, I won't, right? And that's kind of just a basic human thing. You don't just go around making shit up about people and then convincing others that that shit's real and true. Though there are swaths of people, there are these pockets of people. That's their job. And they do seem to follow two certain people, especially a silvery, fishy person. Isn't that crazy? You've got certain people out there who are just driven by emotion. They're just driven by anger and hate and whether or not they like somebody. That thing, whether they like somebody, dictates what they'll believe about somebody because they are conspiracy minded. They are conspiracy theorists. They are illogical. They are not intelligent. It is unintelligent for somebody to allow themselves to have a certain feeling about somebody and then let that feeling dictate what they think is actually happening with that person. That's a very unintelligent way of thinking. Get me? It's a very, let's say, false, fake, dramatic, built, constructed way of thinking. And that's what we're facing in that situation. It's honestly why I will not miss that community at all. I won't miss them one bit as we continue forward. I'm glad to have you, those people that will allow themselves to follow what is provable and won't you know, draw that conclusion based on whether they like somebody or not. I'm glad to have you guys with me, and I'm glad to leave in the dirt those people who are that unintelligent, that they have that weak of a backbone, that they think that because they dislike somebody, that it makes that person all of these things, you know? I'm glad to leave that in the dirt. And hopefully you are too, because you'll find people do get fed up, right? Did you hear that about Amber? Amber sitting there saying that Sharrell was fed up and upset and all this because she got a hold of somebody and they called her weak. And they said that, you know, all this other stuff about her. And it really upset her. And yeah, it would. People that are very emotional, people that are very, you know, people that care what other people think, they will get upset when somebody says something like that about them. So I could see that happening, right? It's kind of sad. But then at the same time, to hold an opinion that you don't have to update your channel when you called somebody out for being racist and all this stuff, that is hypocritical to the max. And that will carry through. One thing that I notice is that those types of YouTubers, they think that their audience just doesn't know. If I don't say it, if I don't get up there and correct it, if I just leave it how it is, they'll never know that I lied. They'll never know that I made that up about Katie. They'll never know that it wasn't true, and I can just move on, and they'll never figure it out. Then they open up their Social Blade data. They turn on that live stream. They go and, you know, try to do something, and they're like, damn, why isn't my views how they were? Damn, why aren't people accepting me like they did? Damn, why are those comments different? And they just can't put two and two together that it's possible that people aren't as dumb as they treat those people, right? Maybe the people out there who do try to figure out what's going on and not let themselves be led by promises and swears and these other things that people tell them is going on, maybe they're not as dumb as they think they are. And you know what I think? I think the reason that they think they can get away with that is because they only look at that vocal minority. The same way as on Twitter, you'll go out there and you'll see that vocal minority on Twitter. That small group of people who want to just start the drama or just want to label somebody something, and they're as loud as can be, right? They're the loudest ones out there. So if you go out, you're going to see them because they tweet 500 times a day, 600 times a day, 700 times a day. And they just spam all this stuff. And then they use others who have nothing to do. Like, I'm sure you'd rather sit down and watch a freaking video or a series than sit on Twitter and tweet for 500 times. Though there are people out there whose lives are Twitter and YouTube. Their entire life. I'm not talking about their channel and their entertainment and then this job. I'm talking about their entire life is embodied in those tweets and embodied in their comments and embodied when they get up on YouTube and ask you to believe them and trust them and swears to you this is happening. That's why they get so butthurt. It is. It's why they get so butthurt. It's why they get so upset. It's why they're so affected when it comes down to somebody standing up and saying, you're lying. That's not true, and I can prove it. Here's the proof. Bam. You good. You done. They take it personally. They get butthurt. They a lolcow, right? They let that affect them. When a normal person would say, oh, shit, I got that story wrong. Thanks for correcting me, man. Let's roll. Let's keep rolling. Let's keep doing our thing. They get stuck in that moment. They get stuck in the past. You know, they have a hard time with change. They have a hard time with moving on. They have a hard time with evolving. They don't ever let their thoughts evolve. That's why they've been locked in that mindset for so long. And it's why they treat Twitter the way they do and YouTube the way they do and comments the way they do. Then you see that healthy group out there who's laughing, having a good time, logging off of the Twitter and the internet, going and doing something, coming back later, you know, enjoying themselves. And you compare those two groups together and you realize a lot of vitriol on that side that uses Twitter, YouTube, and everything as their life. A lot of vitriol, a lot of hate. Why? Because their emotions are attached to it, and it makes these things real and possible. If you look at the other group that's just enjoying themselves, that's just trying to figure out what's going on, that's just trying to move on to the next story, you'll find that those people do not attach their emotions to what's going on this thing. They realize that YouTube is broadcasting a show, broadcasting an opinion, and they just move on to keep doing what they do, and it's more healthy. It's positive. It's something that teaches you something that you take forward with you into the next event. How many of them are still locked in a year ago, right? Doing the same thing they did a year ago every day. making new enemies, of course, making new drama here and there. It's that whole thing that hinges upon what I say is fake drama. I talk about it all the time. If you are forcing a bunch of comments so you can convince people of something, you're trying to play off of other people who also trust people on the internet. You should never, ever trust anybody on the internet with anything. Because if you do, you're going to end up sending $5,000 to Beirut so that a prince can get his fortune out of lockup and give you $1 million for your $5,000 once he gets your $5,000 and pays the fee to get his $1 million out of lockup. You're going to end up getting scammed and getting promised $10,000 for $200 so that person can go and get their gold stuff out of the bank, sell it, and then send you your $10,000 for helping them out with that $200. You're going to end up getting ripped off if you trust people on the internet. You don't need to trust anybody on the internet. If they can't, that's what I was saying in my last stream on UNIRock too. Remember, somebody said, I know you've got receipts. And I said, I don't care if you've got receipts. I don't care if you've got receipts. Because if you had them, you'd show them. If you had receipts, you'd show them to me. I could use those screenshots from way back in the day as an example. Oh yeah, we're not going to believe those screenshots unless you prove them, unless you verify them. How am I supposed to verify them? Well, then don't tell us about them. Just keep them in your pocket until the day they get verified, or never show them to anybody, because we're not going to be fed your bullshit. And that was the first hard line that I drew, but that line should always be drawn here on the fake thing that is the internet. Now, you can use the internet to talk about some real shit, and you can do some really good content on the internet, and you can figure out some real good stories out here. You can really put the pieces together. But if you yourself are going to allow people to promise you anything on this platform, anywhere from Twitter to YouTube across the board, you are being taken for a ride. You know what they always say? They always say, trust me. Trust me. Oh, if they're... Hey. I'm letting them build up a few restreams. I'm saving their YouTube URL, and I'm sending it all in as a packet. I've already communicated with them. I've already set it up. I just got to keep hooking up YouTube with their repeat violations, and we golden girls. Oh, you're good. You're good, Bill, man. Look, I'm just sharing my link. It helps. Not required. I'll be streaming constantly, uploading constantly. I only share the PayPal link. If you want to help out, it's the best way to do it. Yeah, Super Chat works, but PayPal is immediate and takes the smallest percent. You choose if you want to or how you want to. I just appreciate it. So, I jumped over here to rockAlot. The UNIRock 2 stream is more of a test stream. It was for me to kind of make sure that this new, setup I've got is how I want it, to kind of arrange it properly, I want to make the live chat a little more readable. I want to make the jar. We've got the jar here. You see it? You see the jar? Here it is. It's in front of my face. There's the jar. I want to use the jar. I've stopped using the jar for a long time. I'm going to start phasing it back in. I want to get my event list set up so that people that subscribe or whatever, you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to put something on a shelf so that I can put the jar. Like, hey, I'll put the jar back there on that. There we go. Perfect. I'll leave the jar sitting right on that. That works, right? I think that works. I just want to find little places. I want to get this set up. I'm going to get back into streaming shows, written shows. I'm going to prepare edited segments for the shows, and I'm going to do live streams like I just did too, where we kind of figure out little topics and give our opinions on things as it goes, like we did with the Sanders Kennedy thing, like we just did with that whole thing there with Sharrells World and Amber. I'm going to bring back a lot of the UNIRock 2 streams now that I've got things set up for my next season, Season 4 of UNIRock. I know. See, are we in Season 5? Are we still in Season 4? Who knows? I'm just going to call it Season 4 until I feel like changing it to Season 5. So I got a little further to go with my edited videos. I got the concept. I've got how I want things to be. I've got the comedy. I've got the content. I've got it coming. I've got to refine it a little more, and then I'll have it all together. If you haven't been watching my uploads, check them out. They're badass. I know my upload from today isn't there, but it should be there by tomorrow. So Season 4.5, you know what? That's a really good way to look at it, honestly. Because we will be switching to Season 5 after I've gotten things ironed down. We'll be going into Season 5. So I'm going to say we're in Season 4, Season 4.5 for a little bit longer, Yep. So, really, I've only got one more big video to do, and it is the Truth of Non-Sec finale. That's the last big video that I have to do, and honestly, that video has a lot of the work already done for it, and it'll be one of my... every magnum opus to conclude these sets of dramas has gotten better. It's gotten easier to watch. It's got more information packed in an easier to understand, easier to follow fashion. So after I get the Truth of Non-Sec out, I think what I'm going to do is start doing more documentaries like I used to do on my main channel. More stories like that, and we're really taking it to the next level without even meaning to, and you can feel it. There's an energy going on. There's a specific thing. There's a specific energy happening, and it's getting, more and more and more figured out. And my uploads are just like catching fire right now. I've got videos that I've uploaded months ago that keep blowing up and getting more and more and more views, and you know what I'm saying? Like, things are just popping off right now. And what I want to do is do more videos like those videos that work, that get a lot of views. They get a lot of views for a reason. And I want to keep moving that forward because I really think that's my content. I think it's my niche. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole thing. Taking a subject that people are a little confused or there's like a contention on it, and taking that subject and pulling it together, ironing it together, getting both sides out, coming to a conclusion, giving an opinion, and people watch the video and they come out the other side and they think, damn, I wish I would have seen that video a long time ago, because, my whole thing is to center in on the game-changing pieces of a story. And sometimes the YouTubers out there that are even involved in these stories don't understand what those game-changing pieces are. Like an example is with Non-Sec, the Shannon Q video, the admissions that they need a 50-50 while they claim they have one. These little things are the the clips that the entire story hinges on. Whether you're going to believe one side or the other hinges upon those clips, those facts, those things. Getting into those stories and finding those things is my specialty, and I've done it with so many different topics over the years that I've even been interviewed by the news because of it. And I want to keep doing that. The issue is, though, I don't want to keep doing it with topics where really, really scummy, criminal-ass people have some attention in the thing. You know, I want to move on to topics where those types of people aren't even in the realm of the story, because they don't deserve to be mentioned. They don't deserve to be carried forward. They don't deserve to be, put into the history of it. You know, they can just, die by the wayside for all I care, honestly, so. I'm in the wrong freaking room. I'm sitting here reading shit like, what the F, bro? I'm in the wrong room. What the hell, dude? I can't see. It's too small. Oh, come on, Discord. Let me see what it is. I don't know. Torn Edge, I have no idea. I really don't care. I'm letting YouTube handle all that, so. YouTube is slow about handling things, but when they handle things, they come in hot, so. We'll just let them do their thing. It ain't no thing. Ain't no thing like a chicken wang. I just want to see. I bet this is meme review. I'm guessing.
What time is it? No.
PewDiePie time. Up. Yep.
What time? Up.
Reddit time, Poods. It's Reddit time. I knew it. I love Poods, man. Such a good creator. Donnie Darko Explained. You know, I'd like to have Donnie Darko. Have you ever seen Donnie Darko? It's a movie. It's like a cult classic. That thing is psycho, bro. You ever seen Akira? Oh, God, you need your mind expanded. You ever watch Parasite? Don't talk to me about intellectual, philosophical thinking logics if you haven't seen Parasite. You get me? Don't talk to me. Oh, man. Did H3H3 rip off Sam Hyde and $1 Million Extreme? Nah. I think he was inspired by. I don't think he ripped them off. I'm sitting here looking at all these videos. Why am I getting recommended authenticity relationship advice for codependence? I don't want that shit, my dude. What? My Chemical Romance's Gerard Way is Joe Rogan's effing cousin? You gotta be shitting me, dude. What? You know, you gotta keep that money in the family. You gotta get rich and famous somehow, right? This psycho. All right, let me jump in current live stream room. I know people are putting shit there, so. Oh my God, I don't know. If I show it, they're gonna cry. If I show this, they're gonna cry. You ever see what? There's a sequel to Danny Darko, dude? No effing way, bro. No effing way. Okay, listen, I don't know if I want to even show the silverfish and what he's doing, because he'll just cry. He cries when I do it. Like a little baby. Oh my God, it's just... My fuck, look at this spam fucking bullshit. Oh my God, I can't do it, dude. Oh no. The smugness. The smugness. It's just too much, man. The smugness is too much. Let's do it. Fuck it. But if you, the three on the thread, don't present any argument or explanation to why you don't think it's transphobia, how could I possibly dismiss an argument that does not exist? If I didn't want dialogue, I'd have blocked you. Very good point. It almost seems like they're just jumping in to start a bunch of drama and you guys are owning them constantly. I am merely explaining how to have a reasonable discussion after seeing a few people be very shitty towards people I respect and admire. You notice this? Do I even need to break this down? I really don't want to because they're going to cry like little bitches. They're just going to bitch about it for weeks. Just me doing this, they're going to bitch for weeks. But why not? I already committed. So why not, right? He's trying to basically, instead of making an argument and actually responding to what's going on, he's trying to say, I admire and respect these people, and because I do that, something, something, something. Either you should assume the argument is correct that they're making because I respect them, or... Now, again, there is no argument. They haven't made an argument, and they're just starting drama and trying to get their names in a thread like they constantly do. They just attack people. They just whine and scream and cry. They are little bitches. That's just the truth. They're bitches. That's all they do is bitch. Listen to this again. I'm explaining how to have a reasonable discussion. Nobody needs you to explain how to have a discussion. We all learn to do that as fucking children, my dude. You come in here and make your point. You make your... They don't know how to make a point, guys. I've realized this about them. They have no points. They've got no thoughts. All they know how to do is argue. Now, why do they know how... why is it that all they know how to do is argue? Because it's easy to argue for the sake of arguing. You can just talk. All you got to do is talk and add in some kind of thing to go against the person you're talking to. Just like he did here. Just argue for the sake of arguing. Like this person, Mario, is saying, will you give me an example of your argument? There's nothing here to dismiss. He says, I'm just explaining how to have a discussion. Well, you're not. Because if you were, you would be making the point you came here to make, unless you're just here to blindly defend people that you admire. And who cares if you admire them? You admire Earl David Warden. He's being charged for doing things to an infant. That is just provable and real. It's not just being said to be a dick. It's the truth, my dude. So then someone says, what has been shitty about this thread? You're being dismissive, inferring honest people are dishonest, falsely accusing people of gaslighting. No, you are gaslighting in this thread. Anyone can see it. You're just trying to lie about your gaslighting because you have to keep gaslighting people. And once you gaslight, you can't not gaslight without apologizing or actualizing that you gaslit. Therefore, you've got to continue pretending to argue, and all you're doing is just running your mouth, trying to basically punish these people or confuse these people because you guys came in with not a good argument. You got owned. If you don't know what happened before in this thread, Manya and Steve got owned. They got owned hardcore. And once they owned them, these guys started booming out. They just boom like they're just boomers, dude. They just boom. Boomity, boomity, boom, boom, boom. Can't you just talk like a normal adult having a normal dialogue on a topic without all the negativity? Now, he's calling negativity them calling them out. They were the ones that brought the negativity in. They basically came in and said, you're wrong, I'm right. And when these guys said, can you explain how? They said, no, stop attacking us. You're being negative. You're being mean, right? We've seen this a million times before. This is their modus operandi. I'm happy to point you to the many tens of thousands of words I've written on the issues you're asking about, but I don't write for free. I write for free as I want to educate. No, you don't. This is another lie. This is another just straight up like you fanning your own ego, bro. You've never educated anybody on how to do anything but sexually harass women. It's just the truth, my guy. You want to read my tens of thousands of words I've written or words I've said in over 1,700 videos speaking with scores of world-renowned PhDs and a blog I write on philosophy? Your blog is not on philosophy. Your blog is on drama that you create with other people. You just try to attach it to people in philosophy so that you can say that you write about philosophy, because if you create drama around philosophers, then therefore you can try to claim you're also a philosopher. What is your opinion? Where is your philosophy? It doesn't exist. You can't find it. And if you go to your blog, it's just a bunch of bitching. If you go to your YouTube channel, it's you getting butthurt because women are brave enough to stand up and call you out for being a disgusting, hypocritical pig, and you sit there and cry about being called a disgusting, hypocritical pig for 1,680 out of those 1,700 videos. So sorry, dude. Sorry if I'm having a hard time now that I know the breadth of your content and what you do online, in not seeing the bullshit and hypocrisy that you show in these Twitter threads. But the only time you can do this with anybody is if they don't know who you are, right? When I didn't know who you were, you did this kind of shit with me. But now that I know who you are, I can respond to the shit that you say and do with an actual knowledge of what you honestly are online, because you don't get to define you online. You don't get to do that. You don't get to go in and say, I'm this. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you do, you know, people don't have to judge you on what you say. They can look at what you do and then make up their mind, right? You want to judge me, go watch my videos, come back and let me know what you think. I've went and watched yours, and I've seen your blog. You're not a philosopher. You are the worst kind of drama channel, because all of your drama is based on trusting you. I can go watch other YouTubers who've only been doing drama for like 3 months, and they will at least show me what someone said, what the response was, and try to at least represent their argument accurately as they respond. This is what you don't do, and you're actually doing that in this thread too, which is surprising that you think you're going to get away with this forever. Everybody sees what you're doing. They caught on in literally 2 posts. Like, it's gotten so bad that they are catching on. New people are catching on in less than 2 posts, my guy. I care about people learning, not pretentious writings. You haven't even read their stuff. Maybe it is pretentious, but how is your stuff not pretentious? Then it goes on to, so if you're not interested in real-time dialogue on Twitter, why are you wasting everybody's time if they sought productive dialogue with you that you clearly refuse to give? The guy... he says this, right? Steve says this when in the beginning they said, what is your argument? The beginning question, they asked him, what is your argument? And here he is, after all that word salad, all that gaslighting, all that BS, again, looping back around. Nothing. Nothing. You were asked what your side was. You gave all that bullshit. If you don't end all that bullshit with your actual argument, how do they respond, Ding Dong Face? How do they respond if you don't give them an argument? No, you're not giving productive dialogue. Productive dialogue would include your argument. You're just there to defend and simp because Manya bit off more than she could chew. What else do we have here? How about this? They say, Golden Unicorn says, I'm not honest and I am gaslighting. Can we please ask them to present proof? Every video and response you've ever done, you gaslight and you are dishonest and blindly defend your friends. Every single time. Every time, Golden Unicorn. You could find that examples of what I just said in all of your content. It is that bad. Feel free to. Lol, just stop trying to have conversations. I'm right, just deal with it. Okay, check mark. Dude, every time he talks, he sounds like a 12-year-old that had their freaking lollipop taken from them, that just got picked up from cheerleading practice. Okay, effing checkmark SJW. Now let's all form a big group and blindly defend my friends and file false strikes and cry and lie about people. I'm not a SJW, I swear. It's like a brain enchantment that when rolled often causes a debuff. Owned. All that whining is owned with one reference to a video game. And the coup de grace here. Look, I'm a little confused here. I would think that you would want people to be less ignorant, bigoted, and transphobic and more educated and informed, coming from a person who dead named somebody, dead pictured somebody in response to them criticizing them. dead pictured them, took a picture of them before they transitioned and put it on the internet and made fun of them just because they criticized him. Coming from him, now it makes sense why he argues like this, because he is a transphobe and he is racist. But anyway, he's prejudiced, sorry. I don't believe any of you have honest intents. I don't know who this person is, but they know what's up. They immediately noticed that Golden Unicorn, after being owned, all of a sudden Cheshire appears. The wild Cheshire Pokemon appears, whose only power is simping, lying, and obfuscating and gaslighting. And they all have different SP use of their special points when used. So they can only like gaslight and lie. You know, they can't gaslight, lie, and do everything at once. They got to pick like 2 or 3 of them because, you know, they use up all of their super points when they try to use them. But this person just saw, then Cheshire, now the Golden Unicorn, then Cheshire defends. When Cheshire gets owned instantly, then McCrae jumps in. McCrae gets called out and owned instantly, and then Dick in Space jumps in. They are a classic, provable SJW Twitter mob that just rolls around from thread to thread, from topic to topic, from person to person, and reporting and blocking and crying and blaming and whining and deeming people, all these things, when in reality, if we were to look into this person's content, I'm sure we would just find them doing whatever they do. I don't think we'd find a huge number of examples of them maybe like doing the things that we've seen Steve do, like getting accused 10 times of sexual harassment, or, you know, I could just go on forever, right? Trying to steal somebody's community, trying then to steal somebody's YouTube channel, telling people that he has a contract, but in the literal clip right next to it saying that he doesn't have one. He does have one. He doesn't have one. Literal lie next to lie. I think it'd be hard to find that from anybody else but him. So there's 2 things that are either happening here. Either this person is racist and what did he say? Ignorant, bigoted, transphobic. Either this person is those things, or this person is those things, right? Either he is or they are, okay? Those are your 2 options. And I'm sorry to say it, because I know who he is. I don't know anything about this person, but I know that this person is these things. If you just take a quick look, you can find clip after clip after clip, not taken out of context or cherry-picked. So I'm sorry to say it. This is what they've been doing with their time today on Twitter. And everybody keeps putting these clips or these tweets into the Discord server like, you got to talk about this tonight, Uni. It's so crazy. They got owned instantly, and then their whole mob showed up because they were so butthurt over being owned. They got in the DMs and got their mob rallied to go defend them. And you can just see example of this after example of this after example of this. And my response is, you're right. This is what they do. They can't argue on the merit of their arguments. Anytime one of them gets in any thread, in any place, in anything, they say something really stupid, and then they get owned. And then right after that happens, they all rush in to start. Usually you'll see Reds there too. I think Reds is probably too busy at Soy Burger King to be in this conversation, but typically he's in there with the rest of them. And I agree with all of you who sent this in. I completely effing agree. I completely agree. I do think that this is a textbook, you know, I think you should save these tweets. Like, I hope to God Menace makes a video on this interaction tomorrow. I hope you save these, and I hope Menace does a video, and I hope that that video then is searchable in the future, because when people bump into these guys on Twitter, if we have videos that show that they do this out on YouTube, then the next thread that they bump into, maybe they'll go and search their name with the word Twitter after it. You know, maybe they'll go out and search around and see what they can find, and hopefully they'd find, or maybe somebody could drop Menace's video in their next Twitter war, right? And only when one of them goes in, gets owned, like it happens to them every freaking other day or more, and they get the whole mob coming in behind them to save their friends, right? Those examples need to be archived into a video series. You could call it Evidence of the SJW Boomer Twitter Mob, something like that. It'd be a perfect playlist for somebody's channel. You know, every time that they've done this exact thing, which is very often, it starts getting logged. So it just saves people so much time. Could you imagine right after Golden Unicorn got owned in the very beginning, could you imagine if somebody came in and left a link to one of Menace's tweets, or I'm sorry, to one of Menace's videos that showed them doing this, you know, before? Then this person who is arguing with them and owning them over and over and over and over and over again, that person would then already have a video that they could look at and say, oh shit, these guys are just doing that exact same thing to me again. You get me? And they could just be prepared for it. It could get them a little bit ahead of the game. Now, luckily in this Twitter thread, they instantly called it. They were just like, own you. You know what they did? Oh my God, you've got to see this. It's so good. This was a response to something that Golden Unicorn said right here. Right here. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. This is a response right here. So, hold on. I can't pull this up, can I? Hold on. I'll pull it up. I just got to do it incognito because every one of them have me blocked. Every one of them have me blocked, so I got to do it incognito. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Let me see here. Oh my God, it's so crazy. Oh, let's scroll up. Here it is, here it is, here it is, here it is, here it is. Okay, so people are disagreeing with something this person said. I disagree with what this person said. Got me? Now, I don't care what the initial statement is. I care how you see these guys act. So watch this. Of course, that doesn't change the fact that a significant number, blah, blah, blah. And then she says some such as. And then Golden Unicorn. William Shatner isn't transphobic. He was just requesting not to be labeled, blah, blah, blah. Chesh says, already accusing people of just pretending to be fools. Probably not a good way to start with. As if just given that people labeled these people, therefore it's what they are. If such a given should be easy to show without commentary or disparaging, what are you talking about? This person hasn't even responded yet. Have they? Wait, right here. That's just a normal response. Where does all this come from? It's out of nowhere, right? That all they did was make their original argument that I disagree with, that I find dumb, but I do think that it's something people should argue on Twitter, so good. Then they come in with the response, right? And if you scroll down, already accusing people, just off of what, this response, already accusing people of being disparaging and everything else, like, where does that come from? It's nowhere in the thread. Then this person says, are you joking? JK was on the news, blah, blah, blah. And then Golden says, but was it? That's not an argument. But was it? That's not an argument. What do you mean, but was it? Can't you say, but was it? Here's an example of how it wasn't, right? That's what any normal person would think to do. I didn't realize the news was the arbiter of morals. We may be in trouble. If anyone's being condescending and dicky, it's right here. There you go. It's already been started. The same person who just said, if it's such a given, it should be easy to show with commentary or disparaging, doesn't even press their friend to show it with commentary or not being disparaging, because there's no commentary here, and she's being disparaging. Okay? Now, this person gets it and completely owns both of them by saying, your childish irony is ridiculous. You acted as if you didn't know what she did or said, and now you act as if it was no big deal. This act of yours is not the argument you think it is. Ownage. Bam. Gotcha. Gotti. Busy. Play a laugh track or something, please. Gotti. Actually, play the wow effect. That's my favorite one. Gotti. All right. So then, of course, Golden Unicorn is like, oh, Cheshire and I just got owned. I can't tolerate this. It wasn't childish at all. Nice try at a dismissal, but seriously, it was transphobia. How? What now? What? Why didn't you give a how? You were the one that rebutted what they said. They referred you to an article where you could read and see their examples. You said that article, was it? You are the one, not them. You're the one that provably needs to show the examples here. You're trying to flip the example showing onto this person before knowing you're the one that should be the one showing examples, and let's see how they handle it. Many, myself included, believe we were watching a new kind of conversation, blah, 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 blah. But gives a quote out of the article. Now, again, I want to say this. This was a nice move from this person, knowing that all this person had to say was, go read the article, come back at me with your argument against it if you want to argue against it. Instead, they did the work for Golden Unicorn, even though it was Golden Unicorn's point to do it, and they come in with an actual example from an article. Okay, fine. So Golden Unicorn then comes back. Again, how is that transphobic? I'm making a sincere attempt to understand what you think. You didn't read the article that they linked you to. You're not going to go actually read the whole thing. Like I'm not saying I don't agree with the point here, but still, it's the method of argumentation that shows that they are so unintelligent and so bad at what they claim to be experts at to be able to receive the attention that they desire from the internet, right? Okay. So they come back and say, lol, just stop. Yes, lol, just stop is an adequate ownage of this. You're not presenting an argument. You're not bringing your points. This person, even though I disagree with it, brought an argument. Good. At least there's one there. You're just coming back saying, how is that? That's not an argument, Gold. This is why people see Golden Unicorn as empty-headed. Because she is. Lol, just stop. Now, you just watched Chesh get owned. You just watched Golden Unicorn get owned. Multiple times. Then you watch the most epic ownage that could happen in under 4 words. Lol, just stop. And guess who comes in? Why does he come in? Because Golden Unicorn and Chesh knew that they got owned, knew that they couldn't respond, knew that they were getting just torn apart, and they call in the big dog, the expert of arguing, the expert of trying to make a conversation last forever so he can confuse people, lose the original point, lose what they're saying, and try to pull in the secret evidence, to pull in the trust them because I know PhDs, trust them because I love them excuse. Will he do it? Will he pull those excuses, or will he have an actual argument? Let's see. I'm a little confused here. I would like to think that you would want people to be less ignorant, bigoted, and transphobic, and more educated and informed. But when somebody with honest intent asks a question, you dismiss and effectively shut them down. Why? Who does that really help? That's not an argument. You didn't even read what happened. And if you did, you knew how bad your friends got owned. So you're basically now trying to obfuscate. It's so obvious that a 7-year-old could call it out. You got owned. You're not winning here. What's the point of typing that? Maybe he's just so affected by his friends getting owned. He himself is confused. I don't know what would make him type this, but basically it's just word salad. You tell me how that's not word salad, because it is word salad. It's provable word salad. Does it relate to what was said before? Does it carry any type of argument? I mean, what does it say? Let's break it down so we can actually show that he's not 1, philosophical, 2, intelligent, or 3, able to argue at all. Let's just try. Let's be nice to the guy. I mean, we know that if we're not nice to him, he's going to pop a damn blood vessel in his temple, and he might have steam come out of one of his ears. So let's try our best to be nice. Let's try to help him with his argument. Let's just see what we can do here. I'm a little confused here. I would think that you would want people to be less ignorant, bigoted, and transphobic, and more educated and informed. What the fuck? How does this... We got to skip that. It means nothing. It says nothing. It doesn't apply. So are you saying she, by saying, lol, just stop, is making people more ignorant, bigoted, and transphobic, and less educated and informed? I don't understand. Basically, Manya makes an empty argument. They call Manya on the empty argument, and you come back with an empty argument to defend them. I just don't get it. Thank you. And Lisa, there you are. Hey, hit me up tomorrow so I can get you back in Discord. Good to see you. Glad you're in here. Here. I'll hook you up tomorrow. Get in Discord. I can't moderate you. I'm on a different account, but hit me up tomorrow. Glad to see you. Anyway, so let's go to the second sentence. Maybe his first sentence was just him going boom, 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 because he does that a lot. But when somebody with honest intent asks the questions and you dismiss, effectively shut them down, why? Who does that help? That's what you just did. They have honest intent. They're just expressing an opinion of theirs. I disagree with their opinion. Gabriel says, lol, just stop is what Mr. Hitman told Stalin before the bullet. Yes, very true. Though, one more time, where am I here? Why does this help? When somebody in honest intent asks, these guys made an honest point with honest intent. You guys, in a dishonest fashion with no real argument, obviously just to start an argument, come in and just type empty thoughts that don't mean anything, that don't relate and don't carry a point. You know, when referred to an entire article that they say holds their argument, you could have went through that whole article. You could have found the argument in the article. You could have debunked it. You could have rebutted it. You could have used logic to talk against it, but you didn't. Instead, you just typed empty things there, okay? And to come back here and say this, you're basically just attacking them. You're basically just implying a lot of negative things about them and a lot of positive things about your friends with no reasoning. You're not saying how, Manya, by not referring to an article that gives the argument that they're making and by not going through it, reading it, understanding it, and then arguing against it, how is she more educated and informed? The only educated and informed thing here, and even though I don't agree with it at all, is from Moro, because Moro is actually saying something, actually typing something, actually making an argument. I don't know why I have to break this down. I should not have to break down this Twitter thread, but me breaking this down exposes the agenda of Golden Unicorn and Cheshire. And then it exposes the simps that come in just because they have that time of the month sometimes. You know, the show they do, right? And they come in to defend them because of it, right? Okay. Now, that's the name of their show, that time of the month. Now, Morrow comes back and says, honest intent? How can all of you be so disingenuous? Somebody needs to go right here and tell Morrow why they're so disingenuous. One of you guys on Twitter, somebody needs to hit up Morrow R and say, they do this, this is their game. Literally scroll their timeline on any of their stuff before they block you, or open them in incognito mode and scroll it because they will block you. Look and see that they do this constantly. This is their game. Not only is this their game on Twitter, this is their game on YouTube and every other platform they exist on. They all create fake drama using empty, meaningless arguments and words so that they can take that fake drama and report on it on YouTube and try to make it appear as some real thing to try to satiate their Jerry Springer-esque viewership's desire to attack somebody and defend somebody. They found that that's how they get the most views, and they perfected this formula of causing drama to feed their content. It's exactly what this is. I'll keep proving it to you. How can they be so disingenuous? Because then they can go to YouTube and turn you guys into the enemy, use their audience as their weapon against you, and hopefully you bite back and argue and fight with them so that they can make it into content. Now, back to it so I can keep showing how this is a purposeful thing that they do to generate their own content, how it is fake, and how it is the backbone of all of their fake-ass bullshit online. Steve literally says, why are you assuming people to be disingenuous? They are not assuming you to be disingenuous. You are 100%, obviously, as I've just easily broken down with the most simple and basic logic, been visibly disingenuous. Not presenting a point or an argument, not countering any argument, not making any type of logical thought process, yet acting like you guys have honest intent and acting like they are trying to make people more bigoted and such things. You're busted. It's easy to see in any argument you have as long as you find the source of the argument. If you can go to Cheshire, Steve, and Golden Unicorn and find the source of their argument, you can see this exact tactic used over and over and over and over. back in the Lily Jean, back when they attacked Kyle, back when they would blindly defend Steve over Warden, back when all those little tiny controversies happen. You can literally see their tactic and what they do with your eyes right here, anytime. You just got to find the source, which violates established dialectical norms as well as Grice's cooperative principle. If you enter a dialogue without a principle of rational discourse, do you really wonder why nobody wants to talk about these topics? Again, this makes no sense. This makes any person that has more than 3 brain cells want to bang their head into a wall. Why in the Sam hell? This is nothing. This is all nothing again. This is me typing an empty thing dressed up with things that I think will make me sound smart so that maybe I can get you to argue back. Maybe I can get some of my friends to jump in here too. It's what he does. He pretends to be a philosopher. He pretends to be intelligent. He pretends to have an argument. He pretends to have a defense. He never does, but through constant word salad, rabble, and other narcissistic tactics like gaslighting, narcissistic injury response, and these other things, this is how he makes his arguments to take his content. Do you really wonder why no one wants to talk about these topics? This makes no sense. You guys did want to talk about these topics. It's why you jumped in. You guys didn't present an argument when provided with articles and quotes. When you wouldn't accept the articles, given specific quotes from articles, you didn't acknowledge them or argue against them. Instead, you attacked the people themselves. It is a fallacy. You are a walking fallacy. You will always be a walking fallacy, and it's easy to be able to see it. Then Morrow comes back. What arguments are any of you presenting? You're all just asking, how is that transphobia? As if anyone has the time to point out how a comparison works. Talking about established dialectical norms just shows how you are a blind because you don't want to see. You're right. He is blind because he doesn't want to see. He wants to argue. And after you argue with him for a while, he can establish you as an enemy, go make a crying, whining, virtue signaling YouTube video about it, and get his people to attack you. Once they attack you, then that becomes future content that he can continue manipulating. Truly. Provably. He comes back. I have not presented any argument yet. Exactly. You haven't even said anything of substance. You haven't said anything that makes sense or relates to the other words that have been written. At least you're going to admit it now that you've been called on it. Yes, you haven't. That's what you're there for. You can't say nobody wants to talk about a topic when you won't put out an argument against or for the topic, ding dong. Anyway, he merely pointed out dismissing people so readily. How did they dismiss people? It doesn't matter that it's Manya. Anybody could have came in and did what Manya did and got owned so hard as she did in the same way. So it doesn't matter that it's Manya or Cheshire. It matters what they typed. This garbage, this nothing that they put out. It doesn't make sense. But promote resentment and does not help anyone. How did they promote resentment? For God's sakes, dude. You guys would have had to make an argument for any of this to have happened. You seem to not want dialogue, so why are you commenting? To a person who asked them what their argument was, Steve McRae literally responds with, "You seem to not want dialogue." What I want you to understand, is this thing's almost done. I'm almost at the bottom. I want you to understand that this is every argument they've ever had. This represents every argument they've ever had online. You get me? You can apply it to any controversy, any defense, any example, or anything they've ever brought up. It is agreeing to argue with someone. This is what happens when you kill off the managers, the confused look on the faces of the I Karen of the world. I have become destroyers of Karen. I love it. Morrow says, but if you, the 3 on the thread, don't present any argument or explanation to why you don't think it's transphobia, how could I possibly dismiss an argument that does not exist? If I didn't want dialogue, I'd have blocked you. Also, Morrow, if you didn't want dialogue, you wouldn't have asked them what their argument was. But this is what they do to anybody that they argue with. It's why I told Golden Unicorn to shut up when I first criticized Steve. Golden Unicorn has an empty head. There's no gray matter between those ears. No joke. No joke. I'm being dead serious. Watch any time Golden Unicorn makes a point during an argument, whether on Twitter or in a video. And just try to listen to it and reckon it. And if it has to do with anything more than just a basic boilerplate kind of topic, like an argument or something that someone would have to actually think about in order to argue, you're going to get this same thing you've seen here every single time. Just the truth. So then finally, thank God, Golden Unicorn comes in. So Golden Unicorn, I'm not looking at it, will come in and give us the actual argument finally. It won't just be that Golden Unicorn was trying to argue. It won't just be that Golden Unicorn was just trying to set the stage for Steve to come in and create a drama. Golden Unicorn is finally going to make the point and back it up with actual logic and examples so that there can be a dialogue and we can actually see how Steve, Cheshire, and Manya argue something, because they haven't even begun. They are just talking. Gabriel says, mess up Uni, she lost the Tide Pod Challenge. True, I'm sorry, you're right. One thing I have to say is whoever Morrow is, you are an effing hero for coming in and actually owning these guys and seeing through their bullshit from the beginning. It's the responses are so relevant every time Morrow or the OP, the original poster, comes in. They are so relevant. Again, even though I don't agree with what they're arguing, the way that they're arguing, their logic defeats these guys in every single category. Anyway. So then Golden Unicorn comes in, and I can't believe what I just read in the first sentence. Hold on a minute. I have to pray for the first time on stream. I've never prayed ever on stream. Lord, please let Golden Unicorn say something that is relatively not babble. Please, Lord. Do not have her just come in and just ask for their argument when she was the one trying to seem like she was rebutting it. I never pray anymore, and I've never prayed on stream, but I want to be able to give them something in this that doesn't make them look so eternally empty-headed and stupid. Please, Lord. All right, I've opened my eyes. I've done the unthinkable. I prayed on stream. It's how much I want them to actually try or actually show that they have more than an IQ point in their brain. Let's see. I am asking justification for your belief. I haven't expressed mine yet. If you don't want to justify your belief, fine, I will respect that and back off, but I haven't told you what I believe about JK's statement yet. Did I not read something here? What? But was it what? It wasn't childish at all. Nice try at a dismissal, but seriously, was it? How? I watched this person link an entire article. I watched this person then go and pull a quote from it when you refused to go read it. What? I'm sure the justification for their belief was in the effing article they told you about. Woo! 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 Kaboucha! Kaboucha! What? Oh my freaking God, dude. See how dishonest they are? This is why you can't have any type of intellectual argument or even base argument with somebody who is this dishonest. These guys are dishonest on another scale. They are dishonest enough to lie and bullshit about what they just said when it's been recorded in a Twitter thread. They are that dishonest. When you realize you're arguing with a dishonest person, all you got to do is show that they're dishonest and you've won. Wow, my goodness. Did they not remember their typing? Oh, I know. They think that when they block somebody, that person can never see what they type ever again. That's what it is. They think that once they block someone, they can't just open an incognito tab and then look at the tweet thread. They think they can't do that. I guess. Because why else? Why else? It's crazy. It's crazy town. Oh, thank God, because Morrow says, I quoted her and linked a thread that explained it point by point. That's what I just said. See, do you realize I just said this? My response was the same response as theirs. Why? Because I honestly read what they all said and understood what was going on. You see, that's what Steve doesn't have. Or Manya. They don't have the ability to understand even this basic conversation. And they are so dishonest. Once you use dishonest tactics to make arguments and dishonest tactics to defend people, once you do it for a while, you start losing the ability to even in a base form do those things. In the base level. Because you don't keep practicing your argument. You don't keep practicing quick thinking, quick responses, thinking ahead. The chess game of dialogue. You become very bad at it because lying and being dishonest, attacking people, doxing, the things that Golden Unicorn and Steve do, and yes, they both do it, those things are substitutes for base level discussion, or the base level of an argument. Golden Unicorn is in the chat. Asking you questions, Uni. Block her, please. Because it's not her. She was blocked a long time ago, so it's just like a sock account. So just get them out. All right. Mods, block them immediately. They're just socks. Anyway, they were blocked long ago. Now, I'm asking justification for your belief. I read that. Okay, I quoted her and linked a thread explaining point by point. No shit, Morrow. Everyone can see that you did that. Everybody knows that these people could just go read what you linked or then take that little quote you pulled and then make an argument against it. They can't. Gabriel says, Uni only understands the colloquial meaning of justification. Poland will justify before Uni gets it. You're getting slick, my guy. You're getting good. So then she says, you linked somebody else's position. Are you saying that is your position too? Morrow says, come on. No one is that stupid. And this is just a complete smashing of Golden Unicorn's tactic. Morrow is realizing that Golden Unicorn is not taking the time to read what was linked, understand it, and make an argument against it because Golden Unicorn lacks the ability to do so, like she's proven with Steve and Cheshire, and like those two have also proven for an exceptionally long period of time. They just convinced themselves that everybody else on the internet somehow sees them as not what I've just described because they put up a front for it. We aren't that stupid. Okay? People aren't that stupid. This is literally middle school level shit. This is debate. This is debate class in effing middle school. Okay? It was not obvious to me. Sorry for being not as fast as you on pickup. So that is your position too. Thanks for clarifying. And as I said, I will go through that and come back to you. Why can't we keep it civil? What do you mean? Why can't you keep it civil? This is what gets me. The most uncivil people that exist on the internet. Golden Unicorn, Cheshire, and Steve. The most uncivil people that support doxers, that encourage doxers, that go on doxers' streams without ever criticizing them at all, but then want to lob stupid freaking criticism towards other people that aren't even on a near level of doxing or anything like that. These people have this moral authority as they strut around, acting like nobody sees them as hypocrites, when we all do. We all have since very long ago. Anybody that knows of them. Now, this Morrow person doesn't, obviously, because they don't know about those past things, but I think Morrow can kind of tell, you know, they can kind of see what's going on here, right? So my point is, this entire conversation was about the original argument that came from that article and that quote. And anybody can look at this argument and see that. How did Manya read this, and where is it? Moro's, right? How do you read this and then read Moro telling you where to find it, but yet then say down here, you linked somebody else's position? Is that your position too? So you haven't paid attention through the entire thread. You have no clue what's been going on through this entire thread, even to the smallest degree, obviously. That's all I can say. What is this? What is going on in your mind? Are you so worried about how you look, or the fact that you've gotten owned 5 times that it sent you into a booming tizzy? I don't understand why this is necessary or relevant or even thought or written. But the worst thing is, you keep accusing them of keeping it civil. Why, Manya, did you not respond to what Steve McRae said or what Cheshire originally said when they are the two people that made the conversation uncivil? Now, normally this stuff happens in dialogue, Manya. You do this in dialogue, okay? And in dialogue, people are focusing on their own arguments and they're not memorizing everything that just happened. But in a Twitter thread, you can roll right up and see what happened, okay? You get me? Are you following me, everybody? Why not say what you said to Moreau when Cheshire made it uncivil first on like the 3rd or 4th time that I called out when I went down it? Why didn't you call out Steve for making the most uncivil, most offensive, most rude statement in this entire thread up to then? Why are you saying it to Moreau when Moreau's statement compared to Steve's is nothing, right? So let's go through this. Just to be fair, no one is that stupid. That is like Manya is saying, that's not civil. That is the most civil thing I've ever read. You realize you literally wrote something so crazy stupid that this person probably thought you were trolling them, and I think you were. I truly think you're a troll, Manya. If you just read any threads you've ever been in or listen to any conversation you've had that has to do with a contentious subject with one of your friends arguing something or some argument going on, everything that comes out of your mouth sounds like you're trolling. Every time. And this does times 1,000. Okay? Times 1,000. Out of nowhere, when this person's been linking these things to you, telling you, here is an example of what I'm trying to say about J.K. Rowling, and then you state this. So, of course, they're going to be as polite as they can. Using the word stupid here is probably the most polite they could be, because you're straight trolling here. I mean, I could probably be like, okay, maybe Manya wasn't trolling and maybe Manya got lost, or maybe Manya got affected because she didn't like being owned so hard and it caused her brain to boom out. I don't know, man. Like, I just don't get it. You're literally not making any sense in such a way while trying to pretend like you're trying to educate and inform, as your friend Steve said. You didn't rebut Steve when he said it. You didn't call out Steve when he said that the other side was trying to make people more transphobic and more this and more that, as rude, as uncalled for, as uncivil. But yet, simply using the word stupid when the most ignorant and stupid thing possible has been said somehow isn't civil. And I just can't fathom how or why. I know you can't make a justification in the original argument, so I doubt you're going to make any type of real justification for what I just said either, but I can't read that, but I can't read that one. I can't really tell. I don't know what the RAG thing is. I'm just going to stay away from it. I'll ask someone after this. So where are we here? Then Caitlyn comes in and calls it for what it is, trolling. Okay? Now, I've just went step by step and logically broke down every sentence so that I could prove to you that these guys are trolling, right? When they aren't making an argument and they're sitting here saying that the other side is doing all these dishonest things while at the same time pretending like they're the most educational and honest people ever, when in all reality, you can just look at the conversation and see that the only dishonest people are those three. The only people trying to stir up things is those three. The only people not being civil is those three. The only people pretending like they're making an argument in a thread about an argument is those three. Okay, not the other side. The other side is being very upfront and very to the point with what their side and argument is, even though I don't even agree with them on their argument. Sea lioning is funny. This is funny. And it's ironic. You want to know why it's ironic? Because Manya likes to sit around and say that I sea lion her. She likes to go around and say that everybody who criticizes her and Steve is sea lion. The Honorable Earl David Warden says she might be drunk. She can put the... Okay. You guys are trying to get me in trouble. See, I'm stopping it. But look, isn't that awesome? Isn't that freaking awesome? The way that jar... Yeah, hold on. I need to put the jar over on my other side. Because I'm not done. I am not done basking in these guys, one, being destroyed, and two, being outed as the trolls that they are so quickly and easily. I'm not done basking in it. Because it was such a quick designation of how trolly they are. And it was so perfect the way they were designated and outed as the trolls that they are. This is one of the most beautiful Twitter threads I've ever seen. And there's not many Twitter threads that I will say are anything more than a cesspool. But I would call this a Mona Lisa on the wall compared. Sea lioning. This person called them out absolutely perfectly. Sea lioning. Sea lioning is a form of trolling, just so you know, okay? It is a form of trolling. And we're going to see a perfect example of it in just a second, but I'm going to go ahead and just give you it, okay? Here is sea lioning put into a comic, okay? Let's take a look so you understand it. I don't mind most marine mammals, but sea lions I could do without sea lions. Don't say that out loud. Pardon me, I couldn't help but overhear. Now you've done it. I would like to have a civil conversation about your statement. Would you mind showing me evidence of any negative thing any sea lion has ever done to you? Go away. There's no need to raise your voice. I'm right here. I'm just curious if you have any sources to back up your opinion. You're in my house. You made a statement in public for all to hear. Are you unable to defend the statement you make or simply unwilling to have a reasoned discussion? Told you, dude. Sea lions. I've been unfailingly polite, and you two have been nothing but rude. I'm trying to eat breakfast. Very well. We shall resume in an hour. Very good, example of sea lioning. But just in case you don't get it, to prove that it is a type of trolling, sea lioning is a type of trolling or harassment which consists of pursuing people with persistent requests for evidence or repeated questions while maintaining a pretense of civility and sincerity. It may take the form of incessant bad faith invitations to engage in a debate or a discussion. This provably is Manya's entire existence. And it's why Manya continually accuses every other person of it for the last few years. It is Cheshire's entire existence, Red's rhetoric's existence, but more than all of them, it is their kings, their king simp, the simp lord. It is his entire existence. And I can prove it right now. What did he say to Katie Joy Paulson when Katie Joy said it was her opinion that he made her uncomfortable by propositioning her and talking about his junk? What did he say? Persistent requests for evidence, and he offered repeated questions while acting like he was being sincere and civil. He is a sea lion. It is the form of trolling that they use to make every argument and every bit of content they have. It's the form of trolling they use to form their defense and everything. And more than that, it is 100% shown to a T in this conversation. Reads readering. You cannot look at this conversation and not see Manya direct examples and evidence in front of your face. You can compare it to literal sea lioning, a literal typed out example of sea lioning. You can compare it to it, and it will fit it to a perfect T. You can take what Steve did, and it fits sea lioning to a perfect T, and you can take what Cheshire did. And I invite you, after realizing what sea lioning is and getting a full understanding of it through me showing you this, I invite you to start every time they get mad at somebody or defend themselves from something, see if they do not do this, because it is the idiot's best formed argument. It is how someone that lacks the mental ability to reason, discuss, to think, and present arguments and follow a conversation and respond. It's what they do to argue. It's the easiest way that they can pretend to be smart. Why? Because they try to keep that civil approach, that civil appearance. And for people that are trolling, they have to keep a civil appearance if they want to maintain high ground with their fooled audience. And it's why they must use sea lioning to do what they do. Got me? Also, Gabriel, oh my God. My guy, dude, you're awesome. And it is also the easiest way for them to defend Steve. Why? Because if they virtue signal hard enough, which is what they're doing by sea lioning, right? I'm the civil one. They're the mean ones. Uni's the troll. We're not. Now go dox him. Now go stream. You know what Manya did? When I did nothing but... You got to see this. When I did nothing... I'm not even going to pull it up, but when I did nothing but retweet that sea lioning comic that I showed you, she told people to restream my stream. That is how triggered and boomery that she is. She's not civil. She's not fair. It's why she's okay hanging with doxers. Because she's okay with it if it helps her win her arguments. When sea lioning doesn't work, you got to move up the ladder. But let's prove to you scientifically, finally, that is what Steve Cheshire and Manya are right here. And if anybody wants to clip my presentation on them being sea lions and upload it to your channel, you're more than welcome. I don't mind. This is sea lioning. Now, this is the thing. Golden Unicorn, I can't believe it with my eyes. I can't believe it with my eyes. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It's a Mona Lisa. Like I said, this Twitter thread is my Mona Lisa because it takes trolls who have done nothing but do this shit to me for this whole time while pretending to be the smartest, the best arguers ever, and Uni's so dumb. No. And it outs them as exactly what they are for the entire world to see. It's a Mona Lisa of a Twitter thread for me. I don't know about you, but for me. She says, how is it sea lioning? Now, I know that Manya's not going to understand why everybody is laughing at her so hard for her entire online existence, but this is why. And Manya, I've had you pegged since that night when you went into my Discord server and started blindly defending Steve and then started to attack me when I went to his show to ask him what the hell was wrong with me giving my opinion after he begged me to give my opinion, telling me that he knew I'd criticize him if he deserved it and that I was the one guy that wouldn't let him get away with anything, while you sat next to him and said, yeah, UNIRock won't let him get away with anything. And I watched your tactic while you sat next to Steve. I watched your tactic and I knew then that you were just a big sea lioner. You're just a troll who tries to pretend to be smart. That's all you are. And you get mad at people because they end up seeing what you really are. And you know once you see it, you can't unsee it. And you also know when you look in the mirror, it's all you see. And I know it's why you hate me, but you can hate me, boo. You do you, boo, and I'm going to do me. And you can hate me all you want, right? The only reason you hate me so much, Manya, you hate me because you ain't me. You wish you could make some presentations and some arguments like this one that you're hearing tonight. But Manya, I didn't even prepare this. I am slaying you with logic and examples and intelligence and common sense off the top of my head with using 0.01% of my brain power. And now I'm going to take it home and I'm going to freaking prove to you how much of a troll we all have known you are while you think no one sees it, okay? To come back and say, how is it sea lioning, is sea lioning. If you didn't want to sea lion, Manya, the literal walking incantation of a sea lion along with Stephen Cheshire and Reds, you would have come back and told her how it's not sea lioning. Let me do it for you. Let me at least try to do it for you so you understand next time. You would have referred to statements you had made earlier and told people how that doesn't fit the bill for sea lioning. The reason you didn't is because you know that it did fit the bill for sea lioning. You knew you'd sea lioned. You knew you'd been caught. And you're such a troll that you were willing to sea lion again, obviously, so that you could sit there and giggle. And you did. You typed, how is it sea lioning? And you knew that while you typed, how is it sea lioning, you were sea lioning, doing it, and you sat there with a smirk on your face and giggled, and you know you did. Now, the issue is your following expects you guys to own people with arguments, not to troll people with idiocy. And the reason you guys lose so many followers as time goes on constantly more and more is because they keep seeing these examples of you being a troll. And after they see a couple of them, they can't unsee it. So Moro comes in and sea lions back at her to show her that she's sea lioning. Right? Okay, listen. Moro is not asking Manya anything. Right? Any person with any amount of IQ at all, any amount at all, would understand that this is sea lioning and that this person is showing you that it's sea lioning by sea lioning you back. But Manya can't even understand it. Manya can't even grasp. She can't get it. She doesn't understand that this is what she... Now, again, I have to make you understand, Manya has been the one going around accusing me and everyone else who's ever criticized her of being a sea lion. She's the one that started them. Chesh, can you see it? No, Steve, stop sea lying. She's the one that brought the term to Steve's camp. She is. She's the one that did that. And she says the most unholy, stupid thing I've ever seen in a Twitter thread. She becomes a full boomer. Not only did she get explained that it's sea lioning, but she responded to it being called sea lioning as a sea lion purposely. And when they come back in a smart, sarcastic way and own her for doing it by sea lioning her, she proves that she doesn't even get the meme. She doesn't even understand. She's literally being serious. She is being serious here. She thinks everybody is seeing her as a serious person asking serious questions. Her claim, her responsibility to prove. She proved it by just typing this and you coming back. She knew if she called you a sea lion, you would come back and sea lion her. She knew it. She did prove it. You know how she proved it? By setting you up. So this is her proving it, or they, I don't know. This is them proving it, okay? Her claim, her responsibility. They already proved it. Oh my God, I love it so much. Oh my God. Manya thinks I'm obsessed with her, guys. Of course, she doesn't really think that. She was just trying to pretend to sea lion me by saying it, but because she didn't understand what sea lioning is, she didn't realize she wasn't sea lioning me there. She was trolling me. She thought she was sea lioning me, though, because she doesn't understand what sea lioning really is. You know, it makes perfect sense why these people think everybody else is sea lioning them. And it makes perfect sense to why they think everyone else is trolling. They don't have the mental acuity to even understand what the terms they use are in an actual conversation. They go and read a definition and they try to act like they know it, and they can repeat the definition, but they can't even see when they are doing those things. They don't have that ability. Therefore, it is entirely possible Manya may not think that she sea lioned through this whole thing, even when asking how she was sea lioning. She may not realize it. I want to give her more credit than that. I want to pretend like she's got just enough mental acuity to be able to know that she was sea lioning. Because if I take that away, how do I ever like look at her and ever give her any type of anything again, right? If I tell myself that she didn't know she was sea lioning, I've got to think she's a troll, because if not, I have no other excuse for how dumb this is. But I'm just glad that it happened, though. I don't need to know why. I don't need to know how. I don't have to understand it. All I have to do is enjoy it, because my God. Women on Twitter don't owe you anything, lols. So she can accuse me of anything without a fair justification. This is where it gets cringy bad. This is where it gets literal cringy bad. And this is where everybody is figuring out that these guys are just stupid. They're really not trolling as hard as they seem to be, because they just don't understand anything. One more time, I know they're very slow, so they're not understanding what I'm saying. When she said that when they said you were sea lioning, you responded by sea lioning. You responded by doing what they accused you of doing. In order to not sea lion when responding, you would have had to actually explain yourself, make an argument, call forward, call to something, be able to do anything more than just react with an open-ended question reversed back. That is sea lioning, okay? Because I know she's probably going to cry and whine about this video, knowing how bad I owned her by explaining how they owned her. Though, when she goes to do it, I want to make sure she hears it and understands it. This, Manya, is a literal example of sea lioning. If you were to ask, how can you sea lion someone if they ask you, or I'm sorry, if you were to ask the question to Manya, how do you sea lion someone? If they tell you you're sea lioning, Manya's response, if correct, would be, you would ask them, how is it sea lioning? You see what I'm saying, Manya? I want to make sure you get this. This is called sea lioning. All this up here is sea lioning also, from all three of you. This is the condensed form of sea lioning in one 4-letter sentence, okay? Just so you know. Just so you get it. You got it? You got it. Okay. This person is so shocked that you sea lioned in response to being called a sea lioner that the only thing they could do is respond with asking you how it's sea lioning, hoping you would understand, hoping you would be smart enough to say, holy shit, I sea lioned this when I said this. This is a sarcastic remark. They're not being serious. This is a sarcastic remark to this because it's so unbelievable. But do you want to know what's more unbelievable than any of this? Do you want to know? So she can accuse me of anything without a fair justification. I am a woman too. I think I'm at least owed a justification of an accusation leveled against me. There is no accusation, Manya. When you came back and said, how is it sea lioning? You proved her right. Do you get it now? Please, God, tell me she gets it. Please tell me that she gets it. I don't think she's going to get it. I think she is going to respond, and I don't think she's still going to get the fact. But if you go ask anybody if this conversation is sea lioning, they're going to say yes. And if you say, did Manya sea lion in response to this is sea lioning, anyone being honest is going to say, yeah, that's direct sea lioning as a response to this statement. This is also sea lioning, but it's so bad that she is saying that there was something that she was accused of. No, you proved it yourself in the conversation, and you don't even have the mental awareness to realize it. On top of that, then you virtue signal out and get all crazy saying that there was some kind of accusation leveled against you. It's just crazy. So what they do is Caitlyn comes back and says, I can't believe that a sea lioner comes in, gets called out for sea lioning, sea lions as a response, and then sea lions as a response to sea lioning. I can't believe I've witnessed this. I can't believe I have to explain this to Golden Unicorn, Stephen Cheshire, because they're this dumb. I'm going to draw it out for them in this comic. I'm going to go get them a literal example, a step-by-step playbook of sea lioning and exactly what they just did. And I'm going to put it in front of them so that they will finally wake up of how bad they just got owned. Guys, they have all been owned many times. Many, many, many times. This takes the damn cake. This is just as bad as David Silverman sitting there going, penis, 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 after Steve McRae's been arguing that he's not chauvinistic, that he's not a sexual harasser, that he's not an asshole. Okay? Remember when David Silverman did that and Steve just sat there laughing and smiling at him and flirting with him? This is worse than that. Okay? I just want to make sure you get it. It is more obvious. It is more pronounced. It is more of an example. It is incredible. It's incredible. I can't wait to see what they say to this because they have to come back and say, oh my God, I can't believe I've been sea lioning this whole conversation, and I can't believe that I sea lioned as a response to being told that I'm sea lioning, and then I sea lioned again after this. That's the only logical thing that could possibly come. That's the only thing. That's it. She has to finally realize it, and I bet she's going to apologize. She's going to read this. She's going to say, oh shit, I just freaking messed up. Her and Stephen Cheshire are going to apologize for doing this, right? Because that's the only thing you can do at this point. I mean, my God, if you were to double or triple or quadruple down by sea lioning after this is shared to you, sea lioning again, well, you wouldn't be mad if the entire internet then considered you an obvious troll. Someone who is just obviously fucking with people online because you're that unhappy, you're that bored. You get me? Okay. Well, let's see. Now, let's just make sure you get it because it's too good. Lol's uni penis. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you. Of course, you could say it in chat, but It just depends on how much you spam it, whether or not they'll probably remove your comment or something, you know. Okay. PP penis, it's all good. Now, just to iron home this presentation, this complete torching of McCrae, Cheshire, and Golden Unicorn, this example that will forever haunt them for how incredibly owned that they did to themselves with such little work from those that owned them, something that will never be forgotten in the history of their internet existence, because it is the dumbest thing I've ever seen, let alone coming from people who claim to be educators and smart in the same thread. It's even worse because they argue that they are smart educators in the thread where they did this. It's incredible. Oh my God. Did I say Mona Lisa? I mean, it is Bob Ross's entire effing collection. I don't mind most marine mammals, but sea lions I could do without sea lions. Don't say that out loud. Pardon me, I couldn't help but overhear. Oh, now you've done it. I would like to have a civil conversation about your statement. Would you mind showing me evidence of any negative thing any sea lion has ever done to you? This is exactly what Steve and Chesh and Manya did in this conversation. Go away. There's no need to raise your voice. I'm right here. This is exactly what they did in this conversation step by step. I'm just curious if you have any sources to back up your claims. This is exactly what they did in this conversation. They have not presented an argument. Yet, this is what they did. You're in my house. You're on my thread. You made a statement in public for all to hear. Are you unable to defend the statements you make or simply unwilling to have a reasoned discussion? Making this point, Manya, Steve, and Cheshire, before making an argument and actually saying something so that they can rebut what you say, thus starting, you are a sea lion. You try to pretend like you're having a conversation and you're winning and you're better than everybody else before you have even initiated the conversation. In order to initiate the conversation you're trying to have, you would have to have a point, an argument, something. You didn't give it. You didn't care, yet you still acted this way. You did the comic of sea lioning, square by square by square by square by square by square. You're a bunch of sea lions, provably. I told you, dude, these are sea lions. I have been unfailingly polite, and you two have been nothing but rude. I'm trying to eat breakfast. Very well, we will resume in an hour. We will come back in an hour and continue being the sea lions that we were when we first came in here, thus continuing the sea lion cycle. The problem with sea lioning as your content, as Manya, Cheshire, and Steve have done for years online, as your defense, your attack, and your content, one, once you do it, you never get good at argument. You never get good at thinking or arguing or being able to present anything. And two, you never can stop sea lioning. And they haven't for a very long time. But to finish this out and completely destroy this shit, oh my fucking God, I just saw what she said. I just saw her response on accident too early. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. Oh shit, did I miss one? Leroy, what's up, buddy? Thanks, dude. Appreciate you, my guy. I don't even want to show you. It is so cringy and painful to witness. Do you guys think they came back and sea lioned again after being shown that graphic? Or do you think they finally realized what was up and apologized and made an actual point and made an actual argument? They come back. Golden Unicorn comes back with almost a perfect square from the Sea Lion comic. And of course, Caitlyn just LOLs. Caitlyn LOLs. Because Caitlyn realizes she's been trolled by two of the worst, most unintelligent, most empty-headed, most ding-dongy trolls that most likely she's ever seen. Golden Unicorn took another square out of this thing and threw it out as a response. Sea Lioned again. But you want to know what? The main realization, the big question here, was Steve Cheshire and Golden Unicorn purposely sea lioning this whole time? Or are they boomers, so bad, that still at the end of the conversation, they didn't realize it when being directly shown that they did this comic through the entire thing to a T? And I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50, and here's why. Because Steve McRae acts like he just got it after seeing the comic. Didn't you recuse yourself from this discussion? We can untag you. Cheers. He knows that he just did this, that Manya just did this, and that Cheshire just did this, but he didn't realize it until he saw this. And what is his response? To back out of the conversation, to never make a point, to never fix the sea lioning, to never fix. He doesn't make a point. You see? Do you see it? He allows himself to leave as a sea lion when he could have just stated his point that he was trying to make in the beginning. Oh my God, it's like every sculpture that's ever been sculpted in a giant museum in one Twitter thread. This is, I can't even read it, dude. This is not your house. This is a public platform. Now, either Manya started to sea lion from the beginning, okay? And knew it, and was just doing it to troll, just fucking around, and the entire time knew in her mind that she was sea lioning through the entire conversation. And then, because she knew it the whole time, once she was actually given an example of sea lioning, a perfect example, she said, fuck it, I'm going to commit, I'm sea lioning again, and then I'm out of here. Or she legit thought she was making rational, sane arguments. She legit thought she was smart, and they're dumb. They're the one not answering me. They're the one not justifying their stuff. How have they are the rude ones? Now, here's the problem. I've seen her speak live on shows, and I've talked to her myself in a hangout. I guarantee you that Manya didn't know she was sea lioning, didn't read this, and literally just didn't even bother looking at it and just typed that out. I guarantee it. So my point is, no, Manya has no clue what sea lioning is, has proven it here beyond any shadow of a doubt, and is the troll that everybody has always said that she is. Now, the problem is, before this Twitter thread, you know, it's almost like this Twitter thread is the equivalent of Manya thinking that she ended a stream, but not realizing it was still broadcasting. And Manya for an hour argues how UNIRock's dumb, Menace is dumb, Steve is right, Steve is the best guy ever, Steve is moral and ethical, and everyone else is trolls, and Uni's a troll, and Uni's immoral, right? So she argues this for 5 hours on a live stream, and finally ends the live stream, but doesn't realize that she's still streaming, and she says, "Oh my God, are we done? That was 5 hours. God, Steve is such a skeezer. Steve is such an immoral skeezer. He's very, very disrespectful to me. UNIRock and Menace and all of them are right. They've been calling him out, and I get it, man. It's just crazy. And Steve is such a sexual harasser. He does it to me all the time. My God, I wish I could say that while I'm live, but you know, I just can't because I've entered into a contract with the guy, or I've promised him this, or he pays me that, or whatever the reason is she does what she does." This Twitter thread is the equivalent of her being exposed as a complete liar and a troll. She's somebody who presents herself like Cheshire and Steve as a smart person, an intelligent person. And she gets up on this time of the month, and she gets up on Steve's show, blindly defends him, blindly attacks other people, and makes the dumbest, stupidest shows and arguments. But like this Twitter thread proves, she purposely is putting on an act. She really is a sea lion. She really is the troll that she pretends to be. She knows what Steve is, but because she gains something from it, she is purposely defending it, purposely attacking others, whom she knows is right for calling Steve out. But she's not going to gain what she gains from Steve and them if she admits the truth that he's the skeezer, the sexual harasser, the dickhead, and that the people who criticize him constantly are correct in doing it and are responding to Steve's constant attacks, constant trolls, and, you know, laughing and lolling and laughing at his low calorie, right? That if she ever encountered anybody in the same way that me and Menace and Nate Brody and others have encountered Steve, and Kyle Curtis have encountered Steve, that not only would she be doing the same thing that all of us do, which is laughing at him all the time and joking about it and, you know, and poking at him here and there, you know, as a response to his incredible, disgusting behavior. She wouldn't just do that if she ran across to Steve McRae that she called out, right? She would do it times a million, right? That's what her entire content would be. And she knows it. She knows we're right. She knows who Steve really is. She knows that she's wrong for defending him. And this thread, in my opinion, proves it. Because nobody can be this dumb. Nobody. Nobody. It's impossible. It's impossible. I mean, if she is this dumb, I'm sorry to say it, but how does she even operate a fucking computer, right? I mean, there are so many examples here. She's got sea lioning put right in front of her. She can see that every one of her responses follows sea lioning to a T. But she still is trying to act like she's not doing it, right? Only a troll is that obvious, is my point. I could have just said that 5 minutes ago, but Manya deserves to have this thrown in her face. You remember when Manya came into my Discord server and tried to convince me that I shouldn't criticize Steve for attacking Katie's son on Twitter for 2 straight days because Steve decided that he wasn't going to say the boy's name on a live stream. And after I criticized Steve, I went over to Steve's channel and I talked to Steve, and Manya kept interrupting. She kept interjecting. She kept lying. She kept trying to act like, you know, I had gotten something wrong on my stream. I kept asking her, what did I get wrong? She could never tell me because she was sea lioning me back then. And that's why this is so funny. Because I've known this is Manya the whole time. So hopefully somebody like Menace will break this down and put it in a video. And next time they start sea lioning somebody out on Twitter or YouTube or somewhere else, hopefully somebody will share that link. Because people like them, all you can do is laugh at them. Anyway, if you like my content, do you like my presentations? Do you like my live streams? Do you like what I do over on UNIRock too? If you do, hit me up on PayPal, paypal.me/UNIRock. Subscribe, like, join the channel. Whatever you want to do to support it, just watching the videos is more than enough. I appreciate you all for coming. Love you guys. I'm going to be doing a lot more shows in the next few months while streaming, right? I'm going to be hitting UNIRock 2 more often. I'm going to be hitting the rockAlot for actual shows and me talking as opposed to me gaming and stuff like that, but we will still game. Leroy, my guy. We will still game. We will still hang out. See, I love this thing because watch what happens after you guys donate. Watch. Watch it. Watch it. It's so awesome. And I got to change those. I can make all of these things whatever I want. I can make them little busies. I can make them UNIRock signs. All I got to do is set up the rockAlot. I really like this little jar. I think it's cool. I think it adds a cool little animation for people that want to, you know, support us. Anyway, you're going to get a lot more content as opposed to like gaming streams and stuff like that. But don't worry, we're still going to be gaming. I think I'm going to resign gaming to certain days of the week, and I'm going to resign shows to certain day of the week, and I'm going to get on a schedule. It's still going to have to wait until school starts before I can get on a repeated schedule, so I'm going to wait to do that, but I'm going to just try to get into the groove of it until then. I just want to make sure I say this because it's been a while. I don't say it enough, even though I say it all the time. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you actually listening to people's arguments. I appreciate you wanting to see evidence, wanting people to break things down, wanting people to explain things, wanting to hear somebody's thoughts ordered into complex discussions. And I'm glad that you see that the main issue here is that you've got fakers. You've got people that fake being able to have complex discussion, and they use the doxing tactic, and they use the sea lioning tactic, and they use the other tactics to replace what I do, what Kyle does, what Menace is doing, what other YouTubers do, which is engage in the art of discussion, the art of debate, the art of complex thought processes spoken out in a way that people can understand, that people can follow, but also still represent the arguments we need to represent to illustrate what is going on with these things that are happening out there. And the other side are the guys that just sit there and use repeat tactics as opposed to actually doing some real discussion, explaining, thinking, right? You can see the difference in content. You can see the difference in the comedy, even in the silliness. You can see the difference in the actual intent, right? You can see the difference in the actual result, because the result of realizing this about them is that you'll never have to look at another conversation where they behave like that and wonder if they're being serious or not. You'll never have to, because you know they're not being serious, right? And I'm going to just go ahead. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to predict Manya's response, just in case that was her that came in saying that she was going to respond. And I'm going to predict it on point. By the way, Menace to Sobriety, I owe you an apology because I wasn't going to show that. I wasn't going to show that, okay? And I bothered to just briefly scan it, and I said to myself, holy shit, Menace was right. This isn't just a normal Twitter thread. It's not a normal argument. This is these guys not only being owned instantly by people that are much smarter than them, but this is these guys being exposed for what they really are in a short, concise thread. Normally, it would take a much larger thread to expose them in the way that this thread truly exposed them. And that's why I saw the thread and said to myself, I've got to cover it. I have to break this thread down. It is so poignant. It's so packed full of their ignorance and it shows exactly how their tactic works. That I should have listened to you from the start, and I should have done it on UNIRock too. Maybe I'll upload this clip to UNIRock too. I don't know why I wouldn't. I've been too nice to these people. You know? I have been too nice. I've been uploading carefully written, edited videos with the intent of showing them how busted they are, so that maybe they'd realize, fuck, I gotta drop the act. I gotta start actually being nice to people out there, actually treating other people like people that have opinions, thoughts, and actually engaging with them. Or eventually, everyone's gonna realize what these guys have, right? Because they've entered the level that a YouTuber like Premiink, a bigger YouTuber, could get millions of views just by talking about their ignorance. Because these guys are different than flatties. Flatties disguise themselves as flat earthers so that they can make a dime on the internet. These guys have tried to disguise themselves as intelligent people when they're not. They've tried to disguise themselves as educators when they're not, as debaters when they're not. They are none of the things they pretend to be. You know? Their most common argument is, nuh-uh, you are. And Manya is just going to boom out. She's just going to boom out. And it's just going to reinforce this little breakdown. And I can't wait until she does it. Booming out. She doesn't know what that means. And now I'm convinced she doesn't know what it means, or she's going to act like she doesn't. She misses the point. That's what a boomer is. That's what Steve is. A person who is the condensed, orange juice concentrate of missing the point. That's what a boomer is. No self-awareness. Manya will never look at this thread and say, holy fuck, UNIRock's right. But any other smart person would look at it and say, holy shit, UNIRock's right. Everybody else who looks at this thread is right. I got to stop being this way because this is not intelligent. This is trolling. And wouldn't it be funny if we ended up discovering that Steve, Manya, and Cheshire are literal purposeful trolls, yet they don't have the mental acuity to even understand that they are purposeful trolls? Can that even happen? Can that exist? Can an unknowing purposeful troll exist? Somebody who is purposely trolling every time they respond to anything, yet they're so lost, they're so crazy that they themselves don't even see that they're purposely trolling. Is that even possible? I've seen stranger things happen, and it does fully explain them. Either way, Manya, you lost, and you'll never be able to respond to what I just showed you with anything more than a, I'm a sea lion. I got to stop doing it. And if you try, oh, it's going to be funny. I challenge you, Manya. I challenge you to try. Because I just owned you so hard without even trying. And if you do respond, it's just going to be this easy to own you again. I'm sorry. I'm UNIRock. Thanks for watching. See you next time. UNIRock out. Peace. Thank you, Leroy, my dude.